I've set up a lot of Lowrance electronics, and one of the most important things, one of the most important features that they offer that I think is a must-have is a 0.1 antenna. You'd be surprised the amount of guys that don't know how important they are. And I'm gonna show you just how important a 0.1 antenna on your Lowrance setup is for fishing offshore. So one of the first things you're gonna notice is this heading sensor line turned on. And notice that waypoint right there on this point right here. The wind's blowing at our face right here, actually blowing into the boat. And notice how dead still this boat is sitting. You can put that line. So let's say that that's a school of fish right there. I've seen a few fish right there on the end of it. I've marked them with a waypoint, and I've got my spot lock turned on right now. So notice how just dead still that's sitting. There's not much movement at all. So let me show you how to turn the heading on. When you go to Pages, go to Settings, and go down to Chart, you're gonna see this heading extension. You're gonna turn that on. Extension length, I've got 1 mile. There's a couple of different options. I always just leave mine on 1 mile. And what that's gonna do is allow you to see where you're going, see where you're heading. So what I like to do is if I've got a school of fish and I'm lining up right on a waypoint, especially if the wind's blowing like this, I'll hit that spot lock on that trolling motor and that line will stay right dead on. Notice it hasn't moved off of there. That's how accurate. You'll just see just a little bit of movement in it. One other thing that you wanna check under menu and your chart options is your orientation. Lowrance actually recommends your orientation heading up. A lot of guys still like north up. I don't think it makes that big of a difference, but that 0.1 actually has a heading sensor. It's a built-in compass inside it. So when you run heading up, you're always looking right at where you're headed. So remember what I said about everything being lined up and not moving at all. I'm gonna show you what happens when you turn that 0.1 off and actually read off of the internal. Remember the 0.1 updates 10 times per second. The internal updates, I think, 5 times per second. So that's the reason for the, you're gonna see it rotate. So watch what happens whenever I go in here and turn that on, turn that off. As soon as I step on the trolling motor and get it straightened back up, as soon as I start moving, you're gonna see it spin around. And it'll eventually line itself back up. So all you guys wondering, is it worth $200 extra? If there's an accessory that Lowrance makes that I think is a game changer fishing offshore, it's the 0.1 antenna.